We do have a
Okay.
quorum. Let's go ahead and begin.
Okay, could I
Yeah.
just report in my stuff as much as possible? Because he should get out of here pretty soon.
Yeah, there's only one quick thing I'd like to do. Is there anybody that has any additional corrections for the minutes?
No, they were
Okay.
fine.
Anyone who want a second on a motion to
Okay, I
approve the
move.
minutes? Okay, second
Second.
thing. Okay, thank you. Now, second thing, quick, I'd like to nominate Christina to be our clerk. Is anybody, we okay with that?
If Christina is, I move that she be our clerk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Is
Yes.
Christina on?
Yeah, she's
On.
there.
Okay, she didn't speak, so I didn't know.
Shoot, yeah. We tried to get that done before she got here, but no. Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Isabel. I'm sorry to
Oh,
have
God.
No,
preempted
that's
that.
fine. Fowler Library is investigating a sign and the grant with the Concord Garden Club to get 50 signs that working with Delia. And on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday morning, we're going to be planting over 400 plants on Walden Street side of the stream for Hayward Meadow. So I'll check this out with Delia on Wednesday morning. And if anybody
Okay.
wants to help plant, that would be great. That's a lot of plugs to get in.
How many was it again, Isabel?
400.
There's over 400 plants.
Ooh.
What's the date?
A day after tomorrow morning.
Okay,
At Walden Street in the morning. I didn't see a time, but I think 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's
Okay.
opposite the group home.
okay,
Or you can just come to the corner of Everett, Hayward Road and Walden.
okay,
And you'll
good.
see everybody. They're gonna have a tank truck for watering. You
Okay.
will need to bring tools to dig.
Okay,
I have a net to set up a grid. And I have some stakes to mark where that would be. But if anybody has stakes and labels, that would be helpful, and watering cans,
okay,
and obviously shovels.
okay.
And other things to report. I'm still on West Coast time, so I'm sort of,
Okay,
we put in the garden at Fowler Library, and that is quite a success. Put the leaves on it today for mulching. My garden at Harrington is doing very well and is almost ready for winter. And I haven't been, since I come back, I haven't been in touch with the Row school because they want to,
Okay.
but they need help with invasives.
Okay.
They want
Hey,
to
are
do
you,
it.
Isabel, are you talking about the learning garden there? Grounds for Learning at Thoreau?
I don't know if that's what it's called.
It's the garden sort of in the back up the hill.
Yes, yes.
So maybe a month
Laura-
ago, they had a backhoe come in and dig everything up there.
Oh,
Oh, okay,
So as far as I know, I can
Okay.
walk the dog by there
Yeah,
again, but it was a clean slate.
well, two and a half weeks ago, they were telling me that they were really struggling with the invasives. And I said, yeah, you're gonna have to, get it out.
sounds like they did.
I hope
Well,
so.
I don't remember what the timing, but I walk with the dog by there all the time and I saw the backhoe
Okay. I'll check
recently,
it with
but
them
I've been
tomorrow.
out of town the past 2 weekends, so it couldn't have been then.
Huh, okay, I'll check with Laura. Actually, tonight I can email her and see. She and Aaron are coordinating that effort. Those are the main things that I've been working on. I did seed collecting with Concord Land Trust and Natural Resources. The big question is, you can't just collect seed off of conservation land without permission. So people are asking, where can I collect seed? So if people have pollinator gardens that people could come to take some seed, we're recommending less than 10%. There is interest in seed collecting.
Yeah.
So I guess let me know as I hear, or else, yeah, let me know, because
Okay.
I've been at the seed collecting places.
Good.
And I will be doing a winter sow for Lincoln and Concord Land Trust probably in January.
Okay.
And I think that's all I have.
Great.
It looks like my husband's here, so
Oh,
I'm gonna
timing is
unplug
perfect.
my phone and let me know if there's anything else, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much
Alrighty.
for coming to the meeting.
All righty, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was great. Anything else?
Mark, you had on there the website. I don't have an update. I need to contact Erin to see if she can come to our next weekend or next meeting.
Yeah, that sounds good. For myself, let's see, I've been working on the website a little bit. One thing, I thought it might be interesting to show on our website pictures of some of the species that we're trying to restore. Have I shown you, I've got a picture of a half black bumblebee and the golden bumblebee. If you want, I can share that. Let's see. Let me try that. It's stand by, here it comes. So do you see the bees there?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The one on the right there is the half black bumblebee. It's different than the ones we see around here, which this used to be as common as the Bombus impatiens, which we still see in Concord. But this has 2 yellow bands. You see them there on the abdomen. And on the right-hand side, this is the golden bumblebee. It is all yellow on the abdomen. And these 2 bees are not seen in Concord. They have been spotted in Lincoln and they have been spotted in Southborough, where Giguère's plant list has been installed in places. So that might be something we might want to put on the website to sort of get people familiar with what we're, kind of looking at.
I mean, it's not limited to bees, of course. There are a
No,
lot of other,
not at all.
so we should have pictures of other pollinators as well.
Yes, and Giguère's list goes beyond bees, and there's other lists too. The one from Tufts is quite good, and the one Xerxes Society's put out a great list. So I think the trick for us might be to, if we want to sort of, the goal here is to make people aware of the idea of increasing diversity, and a way we could kind of measure it is if we can get those bees visiting flowers in Concord again. And I think a way to do that is the diversity of plants we put in. In fact, in those 2 pictures, which actually I took in Maine, in a nursery that happened to have 2 bunch of plants growing, and these bees happened to be on the plants. This was in July. And sure enough, all the golden bumblebees were on the catmint, which was that sort of, one type of plant. And all the other, the half black bumblebees, I think, were on steeplebush. And so, right there is a case where you can see that different species have different preferences of the types of plants they like to visit. And that's kind of what they've been discovering in Southborough and Lincoln. So this would be good. I think we want the diversity again, and I think maybe half of this really is restoring the diversity of plants in Concord, as well as restoring the diversity of pollinators.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm back because they were just telling me it's gonna be a while.
Oh, oh, no.
Yeah, another 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
I think this is where for me, I think there's a couple approaches, and I think the more that we can get demonstration gardens established, the better off we are in getting the case, put forward. And I mean, I guess there's many approaches. I've thought about, we could do a plant sale using the Bagley kits that Lincoln and Lexington do in the spring. And those are second year plants, so they will often blossom. And also Bagley provides a design to go with it. So I was talking with Fowler people, and that's what they used. And it's about a 20 foot area, so that if we divided kits in half, then we would have like 10 feet, which is, people could donate 10 feet of their property easily for a demonstration model, or the town can, donate 10 feet.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether, I mean, I can ask Delia about it, but I'm wondering if other people could also, because I seem to be the main, I don't know. Well, one is, okay, so we could sell plants. We can do the seed collection, and we can do the winter sowing. We can do demonstration things. We can also, begin to really engage people. If we get this grant for signs, engage people in just educating their neighbors. And I think the signs are probably the most visible.
Yeah. There is a seed collecting workshop coming up on Saturday, I think. I don't know if you folks know about it. Let me make sure of that. Oh boy, I'll send out a note about it.
Is that with Freddie?
No, it's a fellow, what's his name? I'll send out a note.
Oh, okay. I definitely want to do that, and I'm free Saturday.
Yeah, it's a Zoom meeting. So he'll just show the techniques. I think it's a fellow from Northborough, and I think his name is Gary, but I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, Gary Phillips. He's fantastic. That would be great. How did you hear about that?
I got to know, well, that other group, the Sudbury Valley folks, let me know about it.
Okay.
The
No, Gary
Passport,
does some phenomenal work.
Yeah, so I'll send you a note. I'll write a note to myself to do that.
Yes. Definitely want to participate. I've got a whole lot of butterfly weed seeds that need cleaning, and I would love to, because somebody just gave me a big bag of them, so that they're harder to clean because they've already been released.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, let's see. Okay, I've got it here. I'll forward it to you guys as soon as we get done. Hang on just a second, Lori.
Okay.
Yeah, hang on just a sec, sorry. Let's keep moving our way through this. Sorry, folks. Let's see, I just gotta get my agenda back up here. So, the only other thing on the website that I had to report was that I have started working on a technique of mapping. I don't expect that to be terribly productive in the short run, but I did speak to a guy who's a computer honcho, and I think there may be a way we can do mapping of almost anything onto Google Maps using a language called Python. And we might be able to feed it a spreadsheet with the locations and what's going on, and it can then draw the radii and stuff that we want to see if, for example, if we put up a series of gardens, are they connected enough that they can make a pollinator pathway, for example? Should we move on to outdoor lighting?
So I don't know, did people see the Firefly talk that was done a month ago in
No.
Lincoln? So the biggest thing that people can do for lighting,
Okay,
particularly for fireflies, is to draw your shades.
okay,
That's
Okay.
number one, is draw your shades.
great.
Because
that-
the
was
light
that-
out of the window really influences and it impacts the insects.
This was done, the talk was done in Lincoln?
Yeah,
Okay. Was
I
it
can
recorded?
forward it to everybody.
Yeah, if there's a recording of that, I think that'd be really useful for us to make a
was
link
a-
on the website to it.
Well, I think I've sent it to everybody because the study was done in Lincoln and Concord on light pollution for fireflies.
Yeah, I now that you mentioned it, I think I vaguely remember getting that. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I
Cool.
sent it to everybody because
Okay.
it was really well done.
How do you guys feel about putting something like that on our website, a pointer to that talk?
Oh, yeah, I would.
Lois, you're okay with that? What do you think, Stan?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, anybody opposed? Okay,
She was a
Well,
good
I will
talker,
do
a
that.
good speaker. I mean,
I
some
think-
of them are boring, but she was good.
yeah, and if it's boring, people can fast forward. That's the cool.
No,
thing
but
about
this
looking at a
one's good.
recording. Yeah, I think, I think they're very good. The
Tell
only
me
other thing-
from,
I talked to the town about yellow streetlights. And of course, they've just put up brand new lights, and I had a very nice conversation with the fellow in charge of that. And the good news, well, the bad news is, of course, we don't know how we're gonna change it. The good news is that there are 3000 K, which is the temperature of the light, because I have the copy of the purchase agreement. And 3000 K is, it's not quite as cool or not quite as warm as yellow, but it's not terribly blue. So, so what I thought we might do this summer or even this fall, if we have a chance, is just sort of take a peek at the street lights, see if they really are drawing bugs. They may not be too bad because they are fairly warm. The lights can be gotten at 2700 K, which is a little warmer and probably a little less likely to attract bugs. But I think there's a plethora of things we can do, like drawing shades, as the talk Isabel was talking about. There are a lot of things we can do beside the streetlights that will really help. So that's,
the big thing is to turn them off, to put them on motion detectors.
Yeah,
Because they're
yeah.
screwing up all the migration.
yeah. So I think that might be something we stick on the website, just sort of encouraging people to put out as little light as possible at night, so they don't mess up insects and pollinators. Anything else on outdoor lighting? Should we move on to new business? The one item there, 3-year terms and swearing in and our charge. I got some town information from the town asking that they need to swear us in, some of us. So see if you can take care of that. And there's a proposal to lengthen our terms to 3 years from 1. So if you have a problem with that, I guess we can just, we can work around it. The idea is that looking at the work we're doing, I think everybody realized that when we first formed this, it was like, well, let's do this for a year and we'll come up with a report and that's going to be the end of it. And what's been happening is that we've discovered that it wasn't just neonicotinoids we needed to be concerned about. There was other, environmental issues. And then there was also the issue of habitat. And so we want to modify the charge to make it more of an ongoing effort. What do you guys think about that?
Did this come from the select board, Mark, or were you talking to someone else?
A little bit of it, I forget exactly the origin of it. I think it makes smart, but certainly I would go for it because I guess because I've been working on it for a decade, since I stopped keeping honeybees, for example. So I know it's a long-term effort, and the more I look at it, the more there is to learn.
Yeah.
Just for example, that picture I showed you of the 2 different varieties of bumblebees on 2 different types of plants simultaneously, that was a little bit of an educational experience for me. And I think there is a lot to learn to really doing this right. And I think it's nice that we focus on, I think we're more we are focused on pollinators. And a lot of people, including Lori, who's come to our meeting, have been noticing pollinator declines. And that woman who was, what was her name? Shoot, at our last meeting, lives over by
Carmen.
White Pond. Carmen,
Carmen.
yeah. I mean,
I didn't catch her last name.
yeah. Well, Carmen said the same thing, you know, she was saying, gee, we're not seeing the bees we used to see. So I think we've got, I don't think we can say, oh, well, we're done with our work, you know. So, but anyway, I think the same thing is the same thing is true, that if we feel like we're exhausted working on this committee or whatever, there's no reason why we can't resign and, you know, we'll scour around town to find somebody who will join the committee. I think we're doing great work. I really appreciate all you folks, and I'm enjoying working together on this. I think we had a good time at Ag Day, et cetera. So anyway, that's coming along, and I thought what the select board would like us to do, I think, is make some changes to our charge, and then they'll go ahead and see if that'll be approved by the select board. But I thought, why don't we maybe work on that together over the next month and circulate and see if we come to maybe a sort of a unanimous agreement that this is what we want to do at our next meeting. And
How do we do that between meetings on the open meeting business?
well, that's a good point, Steve. I think, how about we do this? I've talked a little bit with the select board about it. Why don't I draft a proposal? Send it to you guys, and then if you send back to me your comments, or just plain, I'm okay with that, or I'm not okay with that. And then at our next meeting, Steve, then we could talk as a group about it. We can deliberate if indeed we really need to. I think it's a pretty simple change. It's more like just a change in the term of our office. I think that the charge is pretty open-ended, right? Not open-ended, but it's pretty broad now. You know, we're talking about habitat and pesticides. So if that seems reasonable, I think we can, and if we need to, we can always call a little special meeting and meet for 15 minutes and hash it out if there's a rush, but I don't think there's a terrible rush on this. So, but I think I'll check with the town clerk to see if we need to figure that out before we get sworn in, you know, if they want to, maybe that's what's driving this, is they want to swear us in for a reasonable time, not just 1 year and have to have us come back again in a year.
I think I remember being sworn in when I went
good.
to put my paper, you know, submit my paperwork.
Yeah.
I
They did it
I
right
was
then.
also, but they came back and said that they've audited and I need to redo the ethics course, and then submit my, I thought I submitted my certificate of ethics.
Yeah. That's done online. It isn't that ethics course online?
Yeah.
Yeah. It may be, it's not like we've got a lot of money on the line here. So.
Oh, I'm
oil
gonna
companies,
be rich on native plants. And I wish it was true.
yeah,
My milk jugs are definitely hot
there you
item.
go. There's a conflict of interest right there. Okay, cool. Well, having done all of that, shall we proceed to public comment? Okay, and Lori's here. I don't know if we've covered the question you had, Lori, but go ahead.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're doing all kinds of things and you've considered many things. So that's great news to hear. And basically, I want to thank you for inviting me or allowing me to attend this meeting and to listen in. these are topics that are very near and dear to my heart. I've also been working with the emphasis on the nature part of climate change, the impact of climate on nature and how we make nature healthier to kind of face the challenges we're going to be facing in the future. And I think it ties in very well to some of the things I'm hearing here. I spoke with Mark. I have a few pictures that I'd like to show you just to get the, so let me see if I can do that.
Yeah. Use that share screen at the bottom there.
Right, so let me do this and then share screen. Okay, so does everybody see that?
Yeah.
I do.
All right. Um, well, let me see. Somewhere around the beginning of 2019 and 2018, there was a trend in our area, which is West Concord, by the middle school, the Peabody Middle School. And it's a very wooded area. When we moved here, we were basically scolded for taking down any trees. And that was kind of the philosophy of the neighborhood, that people really treasured the trees in the area. And, we're willing to go through all kinds of lengths to keep them. But as you can see, in the area, we have mostly white pines, which aren't a good choice at this particular time because of the climate warming and the impact it's having on all kinds of species, but particularly pines. And they're also a very soft tree, and they tend to be easily taken down by windstorms, which we've had our fair share of. So in any case, this is kind of the flavor of the neighborhood. And if this house over here was one of the first in the area to get into this new trend, which was to take down basically every tree that they could on their property. And I don't know how many acres this is. I'm going to guess it's 2 to 3, could be more or less. But usually in my area, it's 2 to 3. Some houses have 7. So it varies a bit. And I'm going to guess that they took down every tree on their property, which you may be saying to yourself, well, what does this have to do with pollinator? Because yay, now they have all this space that they can put in all kinds of pollinator gardens and whatever. And I do believe this family is aware of pollinators and may in fact be putting in native plants. But the fact is that they took down everything else. And in our changing environment, I think we have to, we should be considering other elements of the environment, not just the plants, but the stories. So we have shrubbery, we have trees, all that is important to kind of support habitat for pollinators and for other components of the ecosystem that make the world go around and around. So anyway, this was the first house to start this trend. And as you can see, the trees are really piling up here. They have extensive piles, and they were being taken away steadily. And we live at the other end of the street, so we really didn't see what was happening. We kind of caught this unaware after they had started it. And they not only did that, but they removed all the roots, which to me is, oh my gosh, if you don't have to remove the root systems, they stabilize the earth, they decompose, they make great garden mulches. They're just very valuable. So that was disappointing to me. And this is kind of what it looks like. They've actually gone on and put in a patio in the back and done a lot more landscaping. But basically, this was the net result. It's a moonscape, more or less. And as I said, I think the homeowners understand native plants and pollinators because they have started planting on this hill over here and then along the property lines. And I've seen things like tick seed and other things that, seem to be good for the environment. So this, as I said, was the first house, and there are others. There was a second house in the area that did almost the same thing, except for the fact that they have a stream running through the front of the property, and the town insisted they keep the trees. So they do have a tree screen in front. Okay, this is my backyard, and Mark and I had our houses on the tour for the what was the name of it was the sustainable gardening
Yeah.
demonstration, and it was a day at the high school where um, we invited in all kinds of vendors to talk about their native plants and other components of the environment. And then some of us opened up our properties to people coming in and walking through and seeing. And that's my husband, very proud of his efforts. We put up signs listing all the native plants. It was in June, I believe, Mark. And
Mhm.
so it was a little bit early in the season. We really didn't get to see the plants that had fully developed. It was more sprouts and whatever. So I provided labels of everything that was going to be growing in the garden. And one thing to note, my garden, I'm not claiming 100% native. The property was well planted before we got here, and so we have our share of non-natives and a lot of very annoying ground covers like lily of the valley, which are almost impossible to eradicate. And I've been trying for years. Along came, however, in the fall of 2019, a Draco. If does anybody know what that is? And I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right either. But a Draco, ratio, it's a windstorm. And we've had microbursts in the area, but this was a windstorm that actually cut a path through the whole neighborhood. And I don't know where it ended, but several of the properties in our neighborhood were impacted. And this is what my backyard looked like after that. So
Hmm.
I guess one fortunate thing for us was that it opened up there's kind of three properties here. This is our property, the yellow house in back, that's the second property, but then there's another house here on our left-hand side. And it opened up this beautiful pocket of sunshine. And I don't have pictures of it, but we're reestablishing another pollinator garden in this area. But I think the impact of the storm is that, yes, people had started taking down all their trees and putting in conventional grass lawns and probably using pesticides, which this year I confirmed that we're surrounded now by the house back here, the house over here, and the house on the other side of our property are all using pesticides,
Mhm.
which is very frightening because I've been trying to establish pollinator gardens and plant native plantings for years. And we were so happy. We're starting to see real results. Although I'd have to have some of you come over and identify the bees that we were seeing. This year it was a real difference. So I'm going to stop there as far as the overview of what's going on here. And it sounds like you've been thinking about working with homeowners. And I was hoping that if you haven't done it already, you would consider a program that would um, bring in homeowners to become part of this program. I received an invitation from a friend from Connecticut to join the pollinator pathway, and he came out and looked at my yard and decided that we were a pollinated friendly yard, and I got a plaque. And I was very excited about this, except for the fact that I realized that, well, I'm not in Connecticut, so it's nice to be part of a pollinator pathway, but it would be a lot nicer if people back here stopped using pesticides and thought about pollinator plants, and the people to our left and the people to our right, all of whom have taken down significant trees now since this windstorm, and have brought in just turf grass, which is obnoxious and does nothing for anything, and started using pesticides. So we saw, unfortunately, I don't have really good pictures of the bees and other pollinators that we've had in past years. They're hard to photograph. Bees are moving around and swarming all the time, but I have bushes in particular in my yard that have just been magnets for bees. And it just thrills me to see all this life happening. So when this year the number of pollinators was cut by, I don't even know, maybe 5 times. For every 10 bees I saw last year, I probably saw 1. And those magnet plants weren't magnets anymore. If I saw 1 or 2 bee here or there, it was a good day. So I'm very sad about this, and I'd love to be part of an effort to promote pollinators in neighborhoods in Concord. And so it's a question I bring to you as a group. Is this something that you have thought about? Is it something that is worth working on?
One second. So can I'm sorry if I speak
Yeah,
up.
Go right
They're
ahead.
calling me now. I think I'm going to coordinate this through Fowler Library. So if you would email me your contact on Isabel
Okay.
B. Bailey at Gmail, then I can be followed through, but I've got to go.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you,
I'm sorry.
Isabel. It was nice to
Thanks,
meet you.
Isabel.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
That's pretty much what I had to say.
Okay,
You
good.
know, and then I set out trying to understand what your charter was. It sounds like you're kind of revamping that charter right now, which is great because I think, as you mentioned, Mark, you know, there are all kinds of chemicals and things that impact pollinators. On the other side of that, you have planting the right plants. And when you start talking about planting plants, you have to start thinking about what makes the plants healthy so that the pollinators are healthy. So there's a whole broad scope and range of things to consider.
Yeah. Well,
And
this is very useful to consider.
yeah,
Thank you. I hadn't realized thanks for sharing those pictures. I hadn't realized the scope of the problem that you are seeing.
oh, yes. Well, in our neighborhood, it's pretty massive. And we're
Yeah.
lucky because we're septic. So they
Yep.
can't, you know, they can't tear up properties and put in 10 houses right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll never get there. But so that protects us in a lot of ways. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, when people start putting in turf lawn and using pesticides, it's
Yeah.
time to stop and think.
Yeah. If they use pesticides to control grubs and turf, it's
Right,
a big hit. I
right.
mean,
So,
it's a big pile of pesticides. It's
So,
the worst case.
um,
Yeah.
Laurie, are the pesticides coming from a landscaping company or the
Yes.
people using it?
All of these properties were surrounded, everybody but us. And I've been looking for a landscaper to help for years, and the only one I've come across is Pateri. Does that ring a bell? I know the town was involved with Pateri. Um,
George Corrett does some native stuff.
uh-huh. And who is he with, Lois?
I don't know where he's located. I know his mom. I believe it's just Corrett, Carrettge. I can
Uh-huh.
try to find that out. Bobby Andrews is one of the people, and Gail. They had him for
Oh,
one
in
of
the
the
First
meetings.
Parish.
Yeah,
I
I don't
know we
remember
have
the name.
Eco Quiet Lawn Service and things
He's-
like that. And
well,
there's a place
George's-
in Acton.
George is kind of young and he's kind of newer, but he's been at
Okay.
it now for a while. I mean, he's trained, you know, went to,
I think I know who he is, but I think he may be Eco Quiet Lawn Services. but I'm not 100% sure.
Might be, that might be.
Isn't Eco Quiet, aren't they the ones that just use the electric
Yes.
Right.
machines?
So maybe George is somebody else,
I don't
but his
There's,
know.
name sounds really familiar.
I don't remember who Riverwalk uses, but I know that they have an organic landscape person
Uh-huh.
or company.
Because you know, if the town sponsored a program like that, and I know they have connections with Pateri, who seem to work with bigger projects, so an individual homeowner, you know, hiring them to do work is probably not likely. But if the town is sponsoring a program and they have a lot of work, then, you know, it makes it feasible. And, you know, I'm familiar with them. I've known about them and seen many of their presentations as well as their installations over the years. And I think they're they seem to know what they're doing.
I don't know that myself, but
Yeah, I can send you information, Mark. You
okay.
can share.
Interesting. Well, we did at the Ag Day, we did have some outreach to homeowners.
Uh-huh.
Isabel provided plants and we encouraged people to pledge not to use pesticides.
Uh-huh.
And I think, well, in our neighborhood, I saw one person put a little sign up on their property saying they're a national park now. There's a
Oh, really?
Right, yeah.
certain
Uh-huh.
commit to do certain things to your property to help wildlife.
Uh-huh.
And this probably is inspired by that work. Who's that guy? Oh, I cannot remember his name off the top of my head.
Oh, are you talking about the entomologist?
Yeah, the fellow from Pennsylvania who
Yes.
the professor at the University of Delaware. I've got his book here. I'll
His
yeah,
name
here
is
it is.
Doug Tallamy.
call me. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got this book out, Nature's Best Hope. And he
Right.
basically says, you know, don't have lawns, you know, have habitats for wildlife. And those pictures you showed of those big open spaces, I thought, wow, why not have a little lawn and have all kinds of nifty habitat?
Yep.
I will say that I appreciated the No Mow May last spring because I could look around at we don't have much of a lawn, but we do have one chunk of lawn that we don't use that much. And I said, okay, I won't have to mow that. And I didn't have to feel guilty. And it looked great. All these things came up and it came around June 1st. And I thought, I don't know if I want to mow that or not. You know, it looks pretty nice. So it's gotten shaggy down there. And I think we're going to convert that to, you know, plantings of meadowsweet and
Mm-hmm.
John's wort and all kinds of fun things.
Right.
Yeah, I've gotten quite taken with steeplebush after seeing that bee on steeplebush. It's a relative of meadowsweet in the same family, and it's very ambitious plant. It'll propagate by roots. So forget it started a little ago. Have any of
I
you
may
tried
have it
making-
in my yard.
You have it?
I think I did. I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sure. It has
Cool.
other names, and I think I know it by another name. But
Oh, yeah, that's its common name, steeplebush. What is it? It's
It's a spirea.
Spirea.
spirea of a
Right.
particular
Yes.
type.
I
Yeah.
have some that volunteered, and then I
Yeah.
bought some from Garden in the Woods, and that's taken off.
Cool.
It's doing really great.
Yeah, they do. The Garden in the Woods has the plant.
They
Have
do.
any of you made willow water for helping plants root?
No.
Oh my gosh. I just watched a video. I have not done it myself, but I've got lots of willow that I've started here. And I'm going to chop them up tomorrow and make some willow water. Apparently, this willow water contains a hormone. Willows have a tremendous ability to root. And so we could take hardwood cuttings of meadowsweet or other things and stick them in a medium and pour some willow water on them, and they'll be more
Wow.
likely to root. So I thought
That's great.
I'm going to try some experiments with that this next month. Well, is there any other comments from all of us? This has been a very useful meeting.
Well, let me
Um,
say, Mark, that if the group becomes involved with a residential program, I
Okay,
would love to participate in that.
okay, good.
Uh,
We do want to do that.
okay, great.
I think
Um,
one impression, I don't know how you folks feel, but one impression I came away with from Ag Day is we've participated in Ag Day, gosh, Stan, what, it's been about 3 or 4 years now anyway, huh? And every time we do it, people come up and they want to talk about pollinators and what can we do? And this past year was really terrific giving away plants. And it struck me that I know this, I apologize, it's gonna maybe sound like a dumb idea, but it struck me that even occasionally throwing up a table at Crosby's on a Saturday morning and just saying, hey, you guys want to talk about pollinators and take home a plant? I mean, it's a lot of times people want to do it one-on-one, and that might be something to think about, with take out maybe every once in a while do that. I think that might be a nice thing to get the word out, or even advertise a larger program. I thought I want to find out a little bit more about Fowler, because the people of Fowler are quite good on this, as well as the main library. And maybe doing something together with them would be more effective.
Uh-huh. I did attend something by the library and the Concord Land Trust. There's a
Yeah,
program they sponsored with Delia at
yes,
the main library. I did attend that. It was
okay,
very interesting. And they were doing seed sharing and using milk containers, cutting
yeah,
them in half and putting
Yeah.
soil in and rooting things in it
yeah,
over the winter.
yeah,
Yeah.
So there were a lot of good things that they were doing that sounded very appropriate.
yeah,
Okay.
that's a good point, yeah.
Uh,
So maybe that's the easy way for us to do it, is to pair up with Land Trust and Delia.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
I'd be interested in starting a few seeds in the greenhouse. We have that heated violently through the winter.
yeah, that'd be terrific.
Yeah. I think there's a real market for pollinator plants, especially the native pollinator plants.
Yes, yes, yeah. And I think we have fairly good supply of some native plants we're already growing uh, that we could use as, we could take hardwood cuttings of, and then using Steve's work greenhouse, and maybe using
Uh-huh.
the overwintering things in milk jugs. That's something we should really push this fall, because this is the time to start those in the next month.
Right, right.
And
Mark, I think I mentioned to you that when I started thinking about putting programs out there for residents, I remembered, and I don't know if anyone else remembers this, it was probably 10, 15 years ago. Uh, the water department had a program. It was kind of a contest to get homeowners to cut down on their water use. Does anybody
okay,
remember that? It was a lot of fun, and they
yeah,
got all kinds of groups involved. The League of Women Voters was involved. So each organization was working with its members to encourage them to become involved in the program.
okay,
And there was a real sense of competition among the different groups to have the most people doing the best at conserving water. And
okay,
this could be the same sort of thing. That then I'm so happy that we have a new Concord newspaper coming out
yes,
at the end of this month, because now we have a place to put our town relevant information like this.
that's a good point. In fact, that might be a nice place for us to put a little article on how to do, say, growing native plants over the winter, and how to
Hmm.
collect seed. Little how-tos, or even just pointers to websites that contain the information. And I only spent about an hour thinking about willows a couple of days ago, because I'm growing them, and I have yet to figure out how to do the propagating part from hardwood cuttings. And this this guy had a short video, and I said, okay, that looks reasonable. And, 20 or 30 minutes later, I'm ready to run out there with my clipper and get started.
That's great.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good idea.
Last winter was the first time we tried some with butterfly bushes, and we had very good luck with them.
Nice. When did you cut them then?
Oh, January, I guess.
Okay,
January, February.
yep. And then you started the little hardwood cuttings in the greenhouse?
Right.
Nice. Okay.
We have radiant heat in the floor, so we can just leave things on the floor, and it's a low heat, and it works pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, excellent. So that keeps them from freezing.
Right. As
Nice.
long as we can afford the gas this year.
Yep, yep, nice, I'll say.
What's the new, somehow I missed this new town newspaper? What is that?
Concord Bridge.
Yeah,
You'll find it in your mailbox the end of October, so coming soon.
Okay. Good, it's
It's
going
great.
out to everyone in town?
Everybody in town is my understanding.
Right.
yeah, I think it's gonna be something like the Carlisle mosquitoes that done that way too, I think.
Right.
I thought the Carlisle mosquito was like the Concord Journal.
No,
To
No,
subscribe.
no.
I don't
No?
think
Okay.
so.
No,
no.
no.
Yeah. It's almost a
I
volunteer.
looked up in Carlisle when the Carlisle mosquito started, so pretty familiar with it over the years, and nothing
Yeah.
like the Concord Journal.
Oh, God, no.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
Well, at least we
So,
didn't, yeah, at least they didn't name ours the Concord horsefly or something like that.
so I usually try to add some items to follow up on is
Yes,
in summary, anything we want to, let me look back here. It's hard to, we have a lot of little things, so it's hard to sort of put follow up on everything. I guess there's the planting on Wednesday. But that's,
oh, yes, that Isabel mentioned, yes.
Yes.
yeah. But by the time these go out, that'll be too late, so.
That's.
and I get that from both ends, 'cause I'm on the Haywood Meadow Committee as well, so.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I think,
We
I
had
think
we had our meeting this last week, and we had a lot of the plants stored in the conference room where we were. I didn't realize there was going to be 400 though. That's impressive.
Do you
all
know?
right, so I think if we focus on sort of the bigger things, then that would be the working on the charge is probably the biggest follow-up item right now. And then
Yeah,
the other items are more individual efforts rather than the full committee. So that's probably the main thing I'd focus on.
okay. I'll,
I think,
okay,
Mark, I
Yeah.
sent you the note as well. I sent it to everyone about the possibility of one of the pollinator gardens being like a Liberty or Revolutionary Tea Garden to match up with the 250th for the battle.
oh,
I sent you a note, like quite an extensive note, and I did question like the first, the 1 year and the 3 year, and being new, I said, this is a lot of work for 1 year. That's,
yeah.
and
Oh, that's right, yeah.
so I'm glad you're, looking at that, because I think that's really important. And also I questioned too, because I kept going through the town report and looking for the pollinator report, never found it, then found out that's not there.
That's a
and-
good point. Yes.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I think we need to check on those things and like, and then the pesticides, what I can never say the word.
Neonics.
Yeah, oh, okay, neonics. Like that seemed to be the biggest thing in our charge, and yet that's a part of what people look at, but it's not what we've been actually doing. That's why I was asking those questions, to see if there was more alignment with what we're doing and actually speak it and have our charge changed, or have people, this committee dissolved, like usually it's an advisory committee, they dissolve and whatever, but I think we can
Yeah.
morph. I think morphing would be good.
Yeah. And I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
is-
So, I don't know, like at Haywood Meadow, I don't know what they're having for plants there, but wish I'd gotten in touch a little more with Isabel on it. But I think the idea of having a tea garden that reflects, tea is NTEA, a garden that reflects the revolution would be kind of interesting, because see, the colonists made all kinds of teas from native plants, so they weren't
Okay.
getting the tea from afar. And I just thought that would be an incredibly good thing to do in terms of visibility. And there's
Okay.
a lot of, I mean, stuff like the trolley and things like that, those things are all getting in place for this 250th of
Mhm.
the battles.
Okay.
Henry Dane is part, the chief cook and bottle washer on that, and then he's got a mess of subcommittee. So if people are interested in that, I can, take on looking at that some more.
Yeah,
Be
there's,
good if you come up with some ideas there,
yeah.
a little research.
Yeah.
That's-
Okay.
And I
Well,
think there are plants on Jaguar's list that are used for tea. Well, the one that comes
Oh,
to
there's,
mind
oh,
is catmint. Yeah.
oh, there's plenty. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no lack of, I mean, they use what they had in their backyard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of it, there's some places there's extensive, what do you call it, descriptions of, and some of it's the very proper ladies for tea type of thing. And it's very sweet, and there's descriptions. But, like natives such as sweet fern, sweet goldenrod, spice
Mhm.
bush, wintergreen, Oswego tea, bee balm, elderberry, and of course, all kinds of plants of the mint family.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like, that was the quick thing that I had sent you.
I
I think
think
I
it's,
sent it to everybody. I'm not,
that'd
I
be
don't
cool,
know.
especially if it could be put somewhere near the national park, or near
Yeah,
in that area somehow.
They have, the, Old North Bridge has some sort of gardens in the back. They're not very, I haven't been there in a while. They're not very, well, they weren't very well tended previously.
the
Yeah.
Buttrick Mansion Gardens, is that what
Yeah.
you mean, or something
Yeah.
else?
Is that Buttrick Mansion
Yeah.
above the Old North Bridge?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, but
that's
the
such a
top of the
thing.
hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are just plants. Most of them.
No, I
are.
know, but that's, I mean, that might be in, if
I
you
think
want
that's a
to
great
tie
idea.
in with the,
Oh, okay.
national park, but
All right.
otherwise you'd have to try to find a little plot somewhere in either West Concord or Concord Center.
Well, Haywood Meadow. If that's,
If it's, is it gonna be
Yeah,
covered?
we're trying to get away from having plots at Haywood Meadow and just having a distribution.
oh, have a big meadow, sure.
Yeah, we're having a natural distribution of the
Yeah, okay.
plants. So. But
I think it'd be.
I
very-
think there was I was
Yeah.
listening that there was something up at Buttrick Mansion on teas already.
Okay.
Up
I'll
there,
have to
so,
look- I'll look at that.
yeah. But I've got a question for Steve.
Yeah,
Did you find your ring?
no,
When all the traffic this was at the Ag Day, when all the traffic most of it had left, I did a scan up and down the street and didn't see anything, so. I'm
Oh,
sorry to hear
that's
you
why
didn't
I
find it.
noticed it, but I've been plowing a very rough field the day before over by Route 2. I'm not sure about it, someplace in there. A
Ah,
few people have been out with metal detectors with no luck, but
Oh,
Oh, that's
I was
so
just gonna
sad.
say, you need the detectorists.
That's so sad.
oh, you definitely had it at Ag Day, because I did see it early on when you came.
you did.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I wasn't sure whether I had it there or not.
no, you had it at the start, because I
Okay.
saw it.
Oh, that seems like we should have found it then.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry to hear that you didn't find it.
Uh,
All right, well,
We
I'm
should-
gonna have to
we should-
sign off.
yeah, we should,
So
wow,
next meeting, November 7th at 7 PM.
that's right, yeah. Thank you.
Mark, if you don't
and we'll-
mind, I may be back.
Will,
Oh,
can someone help
Sure.
Mark,
Okay.
remind Mark to send out the agenda?
yes, I need a minder.
You need to
I-
set yourself
checked-
a calendar reminder, Mark.
I did put one on my calendar, but you know what? I still think a physical reminder, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't heard from me a week before the meeting, or maybe 6 days before the meeting, be sure to, feel free.
Okay,
In fact, if I say, gee, I forgot, the very least I could do is give you one of my extra butternut squashes or something like that.
Did you ever talk to Sherry?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
talk to
she has
Siri all
a
the
pretty
time.
good memory. If you tell her right now, well, I think she'd remember.
Yep, yep. And I also talked to my friend Buzz here, right? But it doesn't have a mouth, you know? At least it doesn't say anything.
oh, gosh.
All right, well, good night, everyone.
Okay.
Night.
Thank
take care.
you. It was
Good
nice
night.
to meet
Nice to see you.
everyone, see everyone.